Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of NC-17. My name is Josh, and today we have actress and makeup artist Hannah Catherine Kralik. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. First and foremost, thank you for accepting the invite. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's gonna be a fun one because I don't think I've ever really like interviewed somebody who does makeup. So,
Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad to be the first.
oh yeah. Uh, So kind of take us back a little bit before you got into, the makeup and, movies and stuff like that. As a child, was it something you always wanted to do, or as you got older, you found more interest in it?
As a child, I definitely always wanted to do acting and modeling. I also wanted to sing as well. That's something I'm still working on. But makeup, I was actually a huge tomboy. So I didn't really do much makeup. That was more my sister that did the makeup. It wasn't actually until about like 5 years ago that I really, really got into doing makeup. Just regular makeup kind of at that time. Um, and then the special effects makeup came in after I did the movie Vengeance and working on set and seeing everything that they did behind the scenes with like, oh man, making the kills so cool and working with the blood. And like that's when I kind of really, really got into it. And I was like, okay, I definitely want to try and see if I can do that.
Uh, so growing up a tomboy, and so you played more sports and did the grimier things that boys do. Uh,
Yeah.
so when you finally started getting interested in it, and did it take you by surprise, or was it something that was just like, oh, look, I can do this too?
Um, it was definitely something that I had to work at. I was not the greatest at doing my makeup. Usually my makeup consisted of maybe mascara and a little bit of blush. That was it. Um, so it was my sister-in-law that kind of helped me learn how to do makeup because she's extremely good. And she actually got like a full scholarship to go to do makeup at a school, which was cool. But she taught me a lot of stuff. And then once I kind of like took some of what she taught me, I started looking up like videos on YouTube and just different things. And then I would just started messing around with my face. I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years, so
Uh,
staying home and just messing around doing my makeup. It was practice, but it was well worth it.
yeah. So kind of take us into, like the early years of you kind of getting into film and your first set, and what was your feeling when you got on set for the first time?
So my first time being on set was for Friday the 13th, Vengeance Bloodlines. Um, I had always wanted to do acting growing up, but it never happened. It was not anything that was really available or, anything that I had anybody to support me or back me up on that. So it kind of just, went on the back burner and I'm just like, maybe one day, we'll make it there. And then I got the opportunity to be on Friday the 13th Vengeance and I was so excited. And then being on set, I ended up being there for like 2 weeks, doing my scene, which didn't take that long, but then just helping out behind the set. I got to be scripty for a little while, so it was cool to learn like the scripts and how that's created. I love everything about film. So even though I'm acting, like I love everything about it. The filmography, like it's such a talent with everything combined.
Oh yeah. Uh, and now you're synonymous with probably one of the most known franchises in the entire world, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Uh, so on that movie, you actually had some OGs. I think Tom Matthews was there, and CJ, who played Jason Voorhees in part six,
Hmm.
and Darcy DeMoss was there.
Yeah. Sadly, I did not get to meet her. She was on like the second half of the filming. So I didn't get to meet her or CJ Graham, but it's still awesome to know that like I was in the same movie with them.
Oh yeah. So when you got the script and you were reading your character and everything that was going to happen in the film, what was your initial thought of like, is this going to be a badass, or is this going to be someone who just kind of is a glimpse? What was your first initial thought?
Actually, kind of funny because my character had to swear quite a bit, quite a bit. And my dad being a preacher, that was kind of hard for me. So on set during some of like the lines, I had a really hard time getting out like the swear words. So they were very nice and they kind of like whatever, you feel comfortable saying, go ahead and say it. So there's a couple times I think I say BS about bears and I was supposed to say bullshit
Yeah.
and I just couldn't get it out. But I was excited for the character. They were all potheads, just chilling in their house, minding their own business. And then obviously my death was freaking epic. For anybody that hasn't seen it, I'm not going to say what it is. But it's a pretty epic death, and I was very excited to film that.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about death scenes, especially since you've been in Friday the 13th, is like you have to commit fully to it.
Mhm.
At least I would guess. I've never been in a movie, but would you say you have to completely? Let me get my tongue right. Completely commit to everything that's happening on set and just like in the scene and just be like, I'm gonna know this no matter what.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You have to prepare yourself to know, if I were dying and this was happening to me, how would I really act? You know, you want to make it as believable as possible.
Oh yeah. So after Friday the 13th, uh, your next set, like, was it something kind of just like, because a lot of people, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people watch fan films. I love fan films because they're awesome. But so on your next movie, what would you say would be like the hardest thing you had to kind of like change from Friday the 13th to your next set?
Yeah, the next set that I was on, and not bashing anybody, but definitely not anywhere near like, I mean, very professional on, Friday the 13th with everything, how they did everything on that movie. And then the next one that I went to, not that it was like a terrible experience, but like there was a huge difference.
Oh yeah.
And so like I definitely, and I've done a few things, some stuff that hasn't even made it out, stuff that's never going to come out, which always sucks. Um, but yeah, I've definitely kind of learned like which directors I definitely want to work with, because I know that, the film crew is going to be great. I know that, the directors, it's easy when you have a director that will also like help you get through the scene. Like if you're struggling on like, how do I say this? How do you want my character to say it? How do you want me to act? So it's nice when you have directors, and Jason, was very good with that, giving direction. And Friday the 13th being my first movie, first time ever acting, first time ever being on set, like he was very helpful. So they definitely taught me a lot on that set.
Well, to kind of go back to Friday the 13th, I have to say I've seen it multiple times, and top to bottom, the cast, they all did phenomenal. There were certain characters I was like, damn, I hope this person makes it. And then like 5 seconds later they did. And I was like, okay, cool. But
Yeah.
I mean, my hat's off to you guys because just taking on the task of being in again something as notable as a Friday the 13th, whether it be fan film, actual film, or whatever. But
Yeah.
I mean, they're all actual films, but I mean, that had to be a daunting task because you've seen all the Friday the 13th.
I actually have not seen any of them. So I was not allowed to watch like horror movies growing up. So I've only recently started getting into like watching stuff. But yeah, the only Friday the 13th movie I've ever watched was the first one, the first fan film that Jason created.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's probably really sad to say. But yeah, no, I haven't watched them. I've seen Scream though. I see Scream back there. I have watched all the Screams.
Oh yeah. I'm a big horror fan, so uh well, I mean, I'll say this as a fan, like I own all the Friday the 13th, but like when I'm doing a Friday the 13th marathon,
Hmm.
there may be one or two that I'm just like, even though you fall in this order, you're gonna be last. So,
Yeah.
but so different characters, different roles, different movies. What would you say was a takeaway on a positive note from every single set you've been on?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, Definitely, I would say for Friday the 13th, really learning how to create the character. Um, because like I said, that was so new for me. Like I'd always wanted to act, but like never knew anything about it. So trying to create a whole new person, and make it very believable. Um, I guess I took a lot away from Friday the 13th, honestly. That was for that being my first movie and, getting to work behind set. Um, and seeing how all the film is, created and then actually getting to like watch them do some of like the editing and whatnot behind the scenes. And then obviously like the blood and the gore was epic.
Oh yeah.
Um, from some of the other movies, this one that I did reviled, it's like a little short film. Um, Absolutely fantastic director. Fantastic. I would say probably definitely one of my favorite directors so far that I've worked with, next to Jason. But he's very, very good with creating. The script that he wrote is amazing, and I can't wait for everybody to see this movie because I ended up getting to watch the thing and I bawled my eyes out. um, but he was very good too with helping to learn how to create that character and really take in what they're going through, what they're thinking. And it's nice because he'll talk about like what's going on before, so you can kind of get like a feel for who they are, what they've gone through, and why they are the way that they are, why they're doing this and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. Well, being in like horror and stuff like that, and you being a mother, do you let your children watch those kinds of movies or no?
um I showed them my scene from the movie, but not yet. My oldest is 14 and my youngest is 7. I have 4 in total. So right now, I don't let them watch a lot of horror. There are some things that like their dad does let them watch that I would rather them not watch, just because I don't. I mean, I guess that's how I grew up. That's how I was raised. So like, I am trying to take a step back and be like, okay, I don't there's some things that they can watch, to kind of because I don't want to be them to be like me and people talking about horror movies, and I'm like, I honestly have no idea what you're talking about because I haven't watched them, and me being in a Friday the 13th film, I probably need to watch the other movies, because I have a lot of people that ask me questions, and I'm like, I have no idea.
I mean that's a fair statement. So I respect that about you, like because that how you were told not to watch these, and then you're kind of letting your kids. PG-13 might be okay. Anything past that might not be okay.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes and says that you're a good mother, and I'm always going to praise a good mother. So
Oh, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. But having a family and then being on like being doing movies, do you ever find sometimes that it's hard to juggle both, or is it just like an easy playing field?
No, it's hard, especially going from being a stay-at-home mom for 13 years, to being out and away for sometimes weeks. It is hard, but I try to make the time, to FaceTime them and send them pictures or little videos just so that they can see like what I'm doing. They love behind the scene photos and stuff like that. So,
Uh, uh, so I want to go back to Friday 13th again. I'm sorry,
no, you're fine.
but so that whole scene, cabin scene, and actually everything that led up from the like blockade on past that was so like in vein of what you would see in a true horror film.
Mhm.
And the thing is like when you were filming all that stuff from the time that you got on set to the time that your character what happened with your character. I don't want to ruin it neither. Uh was there moments that you guys were filming that like something happened and it was hard for you to stay in character?
Yeah, so I had, like I said, I had a really hard time with my lines. So I haven't seen the bloopers yet, but I've been told that I have a prominent amount of bloopers on the blooper reel. Um, because I had such a hard time getting the lines out. I was extremely nervous too, being my first movie, even though it was something I've always wanted to do. I still get nervous every time I go to act. Um, but there was one time it was the car scene where I had to come in and get into the car or the truck.
Yeah.
And I just like wasn't doing it right. And I was getting very upset with myself. And the DOP, he was like, okay, I need you to stop for a second. And he was like, I want you to scream at the top of your lungs, fudge the police. And I was like, right now, like in front of everybody on set. And he was like, yes, I want you to do it. So like I, said it a couple times, not loud. But then I did end up screaming it pretty loud. I'm sure that's on the blooper reels. Um, but then, so I mean, that helped me, loosen up a bit, and I was able, to do the scene correctly. And then in the cabin, there were multiple times where I was supposed to grab my bow, and I was supposed to say a line, and every single time I forgot to do it. Like, I mean, until I did do it, but like, oh man, it was just frustrating. But like, everybody's just like standing there staring, and they're waiting for me, and I'm just like looking around, and I was like, dang it,
uh,
sorry.
would you say that like the whole cabin scene was complete chaos on the set, and then behind the scenes, was there like little shenanigans going on because you guys, I mean, your group pretty much stuck together the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty hectic in the cabin. Um, well, I mean, to me, it looked like it was big, but it's not a massive cabin. So like with all that stuff in there and trying to, make sure we don't move anything. Um, and like even there was the one scene after a couple after, I think it was after my death. Um, but there were like teeth all over the ground, so like we're constantly walking and like I'm wobbling and I'm like crap, I got another tooth stuck in my shoe. um but then there's also multiple times where like you'll see me in the back like falling asleep because I'm like trying to stay awake as we're filming. um but then yeah, we always had fun, just messing around on set and taking goofy pictures, or Jason coming up and scaring us out of nowhere. It was fun. Everybody on set was an absolute blast to work with.
Oh yeah. A couple episodes ago, I actually had Amber Brooke on,
Yeah, that's my bestie.
and like there are certain people who can pull off characters, and the thing is you again, you can have a minute role or you can have a huge role, but the thing is if you pull it off and you emote the exact emotions that people want, you're always going to be remembered.
Yeah.
So to me, yeah, you had your main characters and you had, CJ and Tom and all of them, and it's cool seeing all of them. But I was in it for all the background characters and sub characters, and I'm telling you now, you nailed it.
Oh, thank you.
And my wife don't watch horror movies, but I did tell her she needs to see at least the cabin scene.
Mhm.
So she watched that and then she was like, "You're sleeping with the dogs tonight," but whatever. But she also agrees that you nailed it. So.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it was so much fun doing that scene.
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved every minute of it.
So being in that film, obviously Jason's always going to be big. Did you ever find yourself kind of intimidated a little bit just by the size of him, or just because maybe he stayed in character too much or something like that?
I what's kind of interesting is I got to know Jason um through Tori Bell Cosmetics. So I got to get to know him completely out of that element first, which is kind of how I ended up getting into the movie because him and I, had talked at a conference, and I was just telling him, that would love to do movies eventually, and acting and modeling and all this stuff. And then he was like, "Well, I am a director." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you ever need, a background person, like I would love to be in a movie and just like stand there if that's all I got." And then he ended up, it was like a few months, maybe like a month or two later, he ended up messaging me and he was like, I have this movie and I have this character if you would, like to try to audition for it. I was like, heck yeah, I'll do it. So it was cool. I got to meet Jason and talk to him and get to know him on a completely different, I guess, level. So for me, it wasn't very intimidating just because of getting to know him, not in directing. Um, and then it was cool because I actually did get to help him a little bit with like his costume, behind the scenes, trying to help him get it on or get it off. And it was, I mean, I give him credit. That is insane, the amount of work that he has to go through to get that thing on. And then
Oh yeah.
like it was so hot too. Like we had to make sure we had like ice packs and
Oh yeah.
so I wasn't very, ever really intimidating. And it definitely during like that scene, we had rehearsed multiple times. And he was very good with, because I mean, oh, wait, no, I don't want to give anything away. Make a mistake. But for one of the scenes, he was very good with making sure, that like I felt safe, nothing hurt. And they built me a little stand because I'm short, very short. So it was, yeah. So no, Jason was very cool, very nice. I just never really felt intimidated by him.
Uh, that's awesome. Uh, so would you say you're firmly on the ground of being able to say, well, you already know who you like to work with and who you don't like to work with, but are there people out there that are hands down someone you would love to work with?
You mean like famous actors?
Yeah, or
Okay.
just anybody in general.
Okay. Well, definitely one. I want to be in another movie with my friend Amber. That would be awesome. But famous, oh man. I really, really like Scarlett Johansson a lot. I think she's an amazing actress. I mean, Hugh Jackman, he's great. I would love to be in a Marvel movie or Star Wars.
Uh, Star Wars, like it's funny. I get that a lot. Everyone's like, you watch horror movies, Star Wars has monsters, and I'm like, what? But I get it, and a Star Wars movie. I've never had anybody say they'd want to be in a Star Wars movie.
Oh
That's
yeah. Yeah, I love Star Wars. I think that'd be so cool. I would actually like, what is it, Daisy? She plays Rey.
oh yeah, Daisy Ridley.
I would like to work with her too.
Oh yeah,
She's very talented.
yeah. She's actually got a new movie coming out where she's like a window cleaner, but is also former military. I forget the name of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but so is there a certain genre that you would like to work that you haven't worked yet?
Yeah, probably something because so far everything I've done is like horror, which is funny because I wasn't allowed to, watch horror growing up, and that's all the movies I've been in recently. Um, but yeah, I would like to do. I actually wrote a few scripts with a friend of mine. Don't know if they're going to come out or not, but one of them was like a sci-fi one, so like something like that would be cool, and then definitely something like more, intimate, as far as like I don't want to say technically like a love story, but something that is very, it's going to tear at your heart,
Oh yeah,
make you cry, but something that's very, very relatable to like real life is
oh,
something that I do.
oh yeah. Uh, since you have children, would you ever let your children be in film when they got older?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if that's something that they want to do, I'm not going to hold them back. I
Uh,
definitely am going to be extremely involved, extremely involved. But yeah, no, I would never, tell them that they can't do it. If it's something they want to do, I'm all for it.
that's awesome. Uh, so out of all the people you've worked with and, directors, actors, actresses, just everybody in general, is there something that you'd like to say to them now, in a positive light? I don't know why I always got to say that, but whatever.
Well, I guess to Jason, I would like to say thank you to giving me my first opportunity to be in a movie. um, which, made me love it even more. Um, to I'm gonna say to the DOP of a couple movies that I've been in, a couple shorts. He was amazing, and just want to thank him for always pushing me and giving me encouragement, and letting me know that I am talented. Because we all sometimes think, okay, am I really doing this well? Is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? And he has constantly let me know, you are talented, and you can do this. Because I do get very nervous. Like sometimes I'll cry right before my scene because I'm like so nervous. But then as soon as they yell action, I'm like, okay, go time. Um, so yeah, I'd like to say thank you to him, the director from Reviled. Oh man, that man is amazing, an amazing human being, great friend. He's helped me through a lot recently with some things. Um, but even being in that movie and just giving me the opportunity to create the character that I have in that movie. And I actually got to create one of the scenes that I'm in. I got to like choreograph that scene a bit. So, kind of giving me the reins to do whatever with my character was awesome. So,
All right.
those are pretty much the only ones that I've really learned from and some, have taken stuff from.
Oh yeah. This is probably going to be a stupid question, but have you ever heard of the actress Juliette Lewis?
I don't know the name, but I might know her by her face.
She's in Yellow Jackets. I know that much right now. I think that's the latest thing she's been in. But take this as a compliment because it is a compliment. When you act, you kind of remind me of her, and she's a phenomenal actress.
Oh, thank you.
Check out a movie called Strange Days. She was good in that. Or you can always watch Christmas Vacation.
Christmas vacation. You said
Yeah.
strange days. I'm gonna write it down because if not, I will be messaging you later and be like, "What movie did you say?"
Oh yeah. But yeah, Strange Days, she was phenomenal in that. She's in it briefly, but she was phenomenal in that. She's just a phenomenal actress. And when you act, I kind of get reminded of her. And I'm not gonna lie, I own every movie she's ever been in, which is so that says something.
I'm definitely gonna check her out.
Oh yeah. But no, there's it's cool knowing that, you got your footing through a friend,
Hmm.
also into a franchise again, globally known.
Yeah,
And for that, I'm jealous because I'm like, damn, I want to be in a. No, I'm just playing. But no, it's cool to know that your first steps was into something that one you didn't really know,
hmm,
and then two something that you were eager to be in, which to me is always going to be a great combination because if you don't know what's going on, but you're still eager, that means that somewhere between there, something has clicked.
yeah.
So and yeah, I just want to say that as a fan, keep doing what you're doing because we're all going to keep watching.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Uh, with the horizon coming, do you have anything getting ready to come out, or do you have anything that you might be getting ready to work on?
Sadly, no. I've had some recent personal things come up, so it's kind of, I guess, mentally kind of hindered me right now. Um, So I'm just trying to get some things figured out. I'm still doing like the modeling thing. I have a couple modeling gigs coming up. Um, but it's kind of hard at the moment for me to kind of get back into acting without giving away what's going on in my life. But I want to get back in there. I've been watching a lot of the stuff that Amber's been involved in, and probably going to try to reach out to her and try to get involved with some stuff that she's doing.
Uh, well, speaking of the modeling, because we haven't really spoke on that, what kind of got you into that?
I've always loved modeling. I don't know, and I don't want it to come off as like a conceited thing, but I've always taken like pictures of like myself. I loved it. I love everything about it. The different like fashion looks that you can do, and having fun with your makeup and it not having to be like serious all the time. Because I've taken a lot of like, I love Halloween, which is crazy, but yeah, that's my favorite holiday. So like I've done my makeup, which is like different Halloween looks. Um, I don't know.
Uh, well, I know that whatever venture you're going to go into, I know because you are a good person, you're going to succeed in whatever you do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, no problem. Uh, Other than that, I mean, if you have any socials or if you want people reaching out to you, or if you or not, trust me, there's a lot of not, but or if you want to plug your movies where people can watch them or and stuff like that, I'm gonna give the floor to you for the next couple of minutes. Feel free.
Okay. Yeah, so my Facebook, give me a minute to try to remember the names of everything, but my Facebook is Hannah Catherine Kralik. Um, and then my Instagram is Hannah underscore Catherine 23. That's where I have most of like my modeling stuff. Um, and then I have a movie reviled that you can watch on YouTube, like the trailer of it. The actual movie is not out yet, but you can view the trailer and let me know what you think because I think it's gonna be an absolutely amazing movie.
All right. Well, I'm definitely gonna check it out. So, uh, well, Hannah, I wanna thank you for coming on. I wanna thank you for being first for being an awesome mother because I can just tell. My mom raised four boys. Trust me, I can tell.
Thank you.
Uh, you were an awesome guest. You're always welcome on this show anytime, whether it be talking about modeling, makeup, movies, whatever. You even come out here just to say, "Hey, you got a booger in your nose," which I clean it out every day. But but no, you are more
I
than
mean,
welcome on this show. So,
I do have something cool to show you from a movie that I did the makeup on if you want to see.
oh, definitely.
All right, give me 1 second. Sorry, I have to get it out of my closet.
No, you're good.
So for the movie Reviled that I did, I was the lead makeup artist on that movie, and somebody gets shot, and I got to keep the shirt, but I had to make like 5 bullet holes in the shirt.
Yeah,
And I have like some pictures, but during that scene, I'm not gonna say like everything, but that scene turned out so amazing with the blood. Like I was even shocked after I watched it. I was like, I did that. Holy crap.
that's awesome. I'm
So this is like
definitely
my only thing that I have, I think, from like the movies that I've done. So this
yeah.
is like a very cool keepsake for me.
That's awesome. Yeah. Everybody definitely make sure you watch the trailer for Reviled on YouTube. And I believe you can see Bloodline Vengeance Bloodlines on YouTube also.
Yep.
Go support Hannah and everyone else in that film. Uh, just show Hannah all the respect and love because she deserves it because she puts out awesome entertainment and you can tell she wears it on her sleeve. And for that, I thank you.
Well, thank you. I actually literally do wear it on my sleeve. I got my arrow.
There you go. Yeah. See, I'm glad you didn't spoil what happens because I was like, I almost did.
I mean, I almost did a couple times, but then I was like, wait, if somebody watches this and they haven't seen the movie, I don't want to tell them.
Yeah, it was. They'll get the point, or several points. We're not gonna. But nah, you've been a complete rock star. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. And anytime you want to come on, you're more than welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I've had a blast.
All right, all right, everybody. Until next time, stay NC-17.